Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel on Advanced Excel. Today we are going to see this lookup function, and the way we are going to learn this function is by comparing lookup with VLOOKUP, right? So let's start this. Firstly, what lookup does is that lookup will look at the table and determine if it will look at the first row or the first column, and then return the match in the adjacent row or adjacent column you specify. So this is what lookup function does. Against that, what VLOOKUP does is VLOOKUP will only look in the leftmost column of our table and return the adjacent value. Okay. Second, lookup can deal with arrays, whereas VLOOKUP cannot deal with arrays. So this is the area where lookup is more beneficial than the VLOOKUP. Third, while using lookup, user need not specify the column number, and in VLOOKUP user need to specify the column number. You all are aware that in VLOOKUP you have to specify the column number where your result lies. Fourth is, for lookup, the lookup vector and result vector can sit in a different array. Now this is one more advantage of lookup over VLOOKUP, because in VLOOKUP the lookup value and result value should form the part of the same lookup array. Okay, so if they are sitting at some different places or in different sheets, then VLOOKUP is not going to work, but lookup will work. Or even say for that index and match will work, but VLOOKUP will surely not work. Then fifth, while using second type of lookup syntax, the user need not specify the result vector at all. The lookup function understands that the array has only two columns and returns the value in a row or a column we specify. So basically we'll see that when we go to this practical examples. So, against that, VLOOKUP cannot work without user mentioning column number to be looked for the result. Then sixth is, adding columns to array does not hamper the lookup, whereas adding columns to array does hamper the VLOOKUP, and the user need to update the column number, isn't it? So if while using VLOOKUP, suppose you are inserting a column in between your table array, then the lookup will throw NA, okay, because the column numbers are hard coded, and so it is bound to throw NA. But that does not hamper lookup, because in lookup we are giving this lookup array and result array separately, right? So this is one more advantage of lookup. Then lookup does not have options like approximate match or exact match, and in VLOOKUP does have approximate match or exact match. When last argument kept blank, VLOOKUP finds approximate match. This all of you are aware. In VLOOKUP, if you are keeping the last argument blank, then that is if you don't specify 0 or 1 or true or false, it is programmed to find approximate match only. Then 8, lookup can work both ways. So that is to say, if the table is wider, it will work as a HLOOKUP, and if it's a taller, it will work as VLOOKUP. But VLOOKUP can find only VLOOKUP stands for vertical lookup, so it is bound to work only when the data is in a tabular format. So this is a major advantage of lookup over VLOOKUP. Then 9, lookup needs only two parameters while using array form. So in array form, as we will see in the video, that you have to choose only the array, and because the array has only two columns, the lookup automatically brings out the value which is there in the adjacent cell. Compared to that, VLOOKUP needs 4 parameters. Okay. And lastly, VLOOKUP first tries to find exact match, and if it does not find exact match, then it finds approximate match. Okay. Compared to that, in the VLOOKUP, user need to specify the type of match as a 0 or 1 or a false or a true. Okay. So with this background, let's go to the practical examples. Now all these points we'll discuss in length here. So let's begin. Now, as I said, there are lookup has two types. First is called as a vector form. Okay, and this syntax is lookup into bracket lookup value comma lookup vector comma result vector. Now this result vector is surrounded by this rectangular brackets, and I have said in my previous videos that whenever a certain condition in a formula or in a function is surrounded by these rectangular brackets, then such condition is optional. Okay, so you can leave it blank, you need not mention anything and still it will work. Okay, this is called as a vector form when the database has more than 2 columns. Okay, and the second one, it is the syntax is lookup into bracket lookup value and array. This is called as array form when the database has 2 or less columns. Okay, now in any function, while using any function in Excel, every function has its own own premises or own basis on which that function is built. Okay, and for the purpose of lookup function, while using the lookup function, the lookup value field, that is a lookup vector in the table array, should be sorted on ascending order. So this is the basis of the lookup function, isn't it? Like say in case of a VLOOKUP, the value you are looking should be sitting in the leftmost column, or that column need not start as a first column of your table array, but at least that column should be to the left of your resultant column, isn't it? So likewise in lookup, whenever you are using lookup, you have to ensure that this lookup vector column, that column is sorted on ascending order. So with this background, let's start doing this exercise. First is, now we are having this name, amount and department, and here I am going to show you when it is sorted and not sorted, how that lookup works. So is equal to lookup tab, I will search for this name, and now if you can see here, my name and amount, they are sorted on ascending order, especially name, because I am looking for a name. So that name, which is a lookup vector or lookup value, that column is sorted in an ascending order. So I'll just choose this, and I'm using this array form, right? And close bracket, control enter, 4000 for D, press F2, hit F4 to freeze the ranges, and control C, control V. Okay, so what we have done here over here is my lookup F2, my lookup value is D. Okay, we are looking for this lookup value in this particular table array, which consists of only 2 columns, which is name and amount. And because it consists of only 2 columns, we have used this array form of lookup, and it is throwing me a perfect result, isn't it? But as I have said, this lookup is sorted in an ascending order. Now let me show you what happens if it is not sorted in an ascending order. So I'll just jiggle these names, say D, E, A, C and B. Okay, and let's try to find out lookup value is D, and my array is, I'll hit F4 right now, close the brackets, enter, 5000. Now you can see for D it is giving me 5000, whereas here in D the amount is 1000. Okay, and if I copy this, it will again give me different results. See, so whenever you are using lookup, you have to ensure that the table array is sorted on ascending order. Okay, so what do you mean by ascending order? When your lookup value is starting with an alphabet, then it should be from A to Z, and when it's a number, then it should be from 0 to 9. So I'll again delete this, and I'll restore this to ABCDE or DS. That is a shortcut key for sort. Tap, name, A to Z, and English. Okay, so this is how you can use the form array form of lookup function. Now let me show you how you can use the other one, that is a vector form. So is equal to, now suppose I want to find the department. Again my database is sorted in ascending order, is equal to lookup tab. Now I am using this vector form. Okay, so again first condition is the same, lookup value, comma, my lookup vector is going to be this. So basically this is the range in which it will find D. okay, and then my result vector is going to be department. So I'll select department separately and control enter IT. Let me freeze this cells, ranges, F4, control enter, and let's use a relative cell reference feature of Excel. I'll select the range, hit F2 and control enter IT. Okay, so in this particular form, which is called as a vector form, we are looking for this D, and we are looking for this D in this lookup vector which contains the names, and because we want their department, we have given separate result vector, the range of which is this, and then it is throwing me the perfect result. So these are the two ways in which you can use the lookup. Okay, so let's move on to the next example. I mean, in this example, I am saying that lookup works either like VLOOKUP or HLOOKUP in given situation. So VLOOKUP we have seen in the previous one. Now how to use it if you want to have a HLOOKUP, or if you want lookup to work like HLOOKUP. So I'll delete this. So is equal to lookup, say C, comma. Now suppose I want to find only CTC. Okay, so because the CTC is in the second row of this table array, we are going to use this array form of lookup. So my lookup value is C, and straight away I will give this array, complete the parenthesis and control enter, 3000. Okay, if I make it B, 2000, if I make it A, 1000. So you can see my database is now spread across horizontally across the columns, and lookup is perfectly operating as a HLOOKUP because it understands that my database is in a horizontal format. Now what if I want to find a department? So I'll delete this. Now we'll use a vector form of lookup. So I'll say lookup tab. My lookup value is going to be A. My lookup vector is going to be this, comma, and my result vector is going to be department, close brackets, enter, marketing. If I make it this B, it is sales. So this is a major advantage of lookup over VLOOKUP or HLOOKUP. Whenever you are in a situation where your database is perfectly sorted in ascending order, okay, and whether it is a tabular form or it's in a horizontal form, and you want to find a result for a lookup value, then lookup is the best function you will find. Okay, you need not use VLOOKUP or need not use HLOOKUP also. Even they work fine as well, but you can replace those functions using lookup. So let's move to next example. Yeah, now this is a fantastic one. Now lookup can take care of array formulas without pressing Ctrl Shift and Enter. Okay, so lookup is one such function which can easily handle table arrays. Now here is the database of name and amount. Now if you can see in this names, there are spaces either after the name or before the name starts. So here is a space after A, here is a space before B, here is a space after C, again here is a space before D, and here is a space after E. Okay, so and you want to find this amount. So let's try to find amount using VLOOKUP. So is equal to VLOOKUP tab, name is A, my table array is this, comma 2, comma 0, control enter. It is giving me NA. It has to give me NA because a very simple thing, the data that is A here, it does not match with the data in my table array, because in all these data there is a space either after the name or before the name begins, isn't it? So if we want this VLOOKUP to work, what we usually do is we take use of this helper column and we say trim, isn't it? We trim this data and then Ctrl C, enter, and now VLOOKUP will work fine. Is equal to VLOOKUP tab, comma 3, comma 0, what happened? Okay, lookup value is this. Okay, now it is working fine because we have used this helper column where we have trimmed those extra spaces that were appearing in this database, and then we have used VLOOKUP to find the amount for the given names. Okay, but let me show you how lookup works. Is equal to lookup tab, my lookup value is a, comma, now my lookup vector. Now I am going to use this vector form. Okay, because if I have to use array, I have to give this both the columns, and it's not going to work because that a has that extra space either after it or before it. Okay, so we'll use this vector form. So my lookup vector, I am going to say trim tab. So this is my lookup vector, comma, and my result vector is going to be this, and I am only pressing enter. Okay, enter, and here it is. Okay, and let me just evaluate this function for you. Formula evaluate. So it is looking for that a which is in H28 cell. Evaluate. So it is looking for this a. Then my lookup vector is this this range, that is from B28 to B32, and if you can see it is surrounded by these brackets which stands for an array function. So and it is again this values are in inverted commas, so it's a text, and then if I evaluate, it is giving me 1000. So without pressing Ctrl Shift Enter, that is a CAC, which stands for array functions, lookup works very well, but VLOOKUP can't do this. Okay, so if I delete this, VLOOKUP is no way it's going to find the answer, right? So this is a one more major advantage of lookup function over VLOOKUP for even your HLOOKUP. Okay, it can handle array formulas. Now next is lookup can also take care of multiple table arrays. Okay, so here we are having an example where this is a region, these are the units sold and the commission rates, and for each region and depending on the unit sold, the commission rates are different. So region is ABC, DEF and GHI, right? So if I am just putting here a quantity, say 480, and let's use lookup, my lookup value is going to be 480, comma. Now in this example we are going to see two things about lookup. Okay, first that it is taking care of multiple table arrays, and second thing is that it is going to find approximate match. Okay, because this 480, we don't have a quantity of 480, the band is of 100, right? So I'll say look up this value. Now the lookup vector is for lookup vector, I'll say if tab, if this is equal to ABC, then this is my table array, comma, if tab this is equal to DEF, then this is my table array, or else third region is GHI, so you need not if again, or this is my table array. Okay, I am closing the brackets for if, and now I am closing the brackets for lookup, control enter, 13.30. so region is DEF, quantity is 480, so DEF and 480, 13.30. okay, let me change this to ABC, and it should give me how much? 17.50. ABC 17.50. now let me change the quantity to exact 300. okay, so it has to give me 15%. okay, and let me change this region to GHI. For GHI 300, how much is that? 13.56. 13.56. okay, so like like VLOOKUP or any other lookup can also take care of multiple table arrays. You can use if, or you can also use indirect function with that cell reference feature. Okay, so this is one more advantage of lookup, that it can handle multiple table arrays. And lastly, we can nest lookup with lookup itself. Okay, so we can self-integrate lookup with lookup. So let's see how. I have this database of employee code and name, and another database. Assume that this second database is in a different sheet which has got name, CTC and department. So here you want CTC, but for CTC you will have to use this table, but again in this table you do not have E code. So how to do? So first of all we will arrive at name. For name I will say is equal to lookup tab lookup for this 105, and this is my array, bracket close, control enter, D. So 105 stands for B, that's the employee code of D. Now this particular result of a lookup is going to be a lookup value for the purpose of finding out CTC from this second table array. Okay, so I'll just hit F2 and I'll build one more lookup around this lookup. So I'll say lookup tab. Now result of this lookup is D, we know that. So I'll come to the end of this function and I'll say comma, and now because this is my lookup, what is my array for the purpose of CTC? It is this, right? So I'll choose this, close parenthesis and enter. 13 lakh for D. Is it right? Perfect. D 13 lakh. If I change this to say 104, which is for E, it should give me 14 lakhs. So 104, yes, it is giving me 14 lakhs. Okay, so in this example we have used the second form of lookup, which is array form. Okay, now here we are going to use that vector form. Okay, so I'll start with the same thing, is equal to lookup tab lookup for this employee code. Okay, so 105 is D, right? Now we want department, but now my department is sitting somewhere else, isn't it? So what I'm going to do is I'll say lookup. Okay, this is my lookup value. My lookup vector is going to be this, and my result vector is going to be this. Okay, close parenthesis, enter, admin. Did you get that? So what is happening is that depending on the employee code, we have first arrived at who is that employee. So we got this D, and then the result of that lookup we used to get the department of D, and here we have used that vector form of lookup. Okay friends, and let me show you one more thing which I missed out over here. I said that whenever you are inserting any column, then lookup works exactly well. It has got no problem even if you are inserting a row or anything, but VLOOKUP does not do that, and let me explain it to you. I am just saying say VLOOKUP here, comma, and we are trying to find out say department, F4, comma 3, comma 0, isn't it? Enter. Okay, now suppose I insert here two columns. Just see what is happening, and if I copy this here, it's giving me 0. Okay, because in VLOOKUP, whenever you are inserting any columns in between your table array, the VLOOKUP is not going to give you a result. Okay, because this column number which we have done, we have hard coded. So we started from here, and now the columns are not 3, they are 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So if I change these columns to 5, it will work. Isn't it? But this particular thing, inserting column or row, it does not hamper lookup at all, and let me show you that also. Okay, so I will say is equal to lookup. Now here I will use this vector form, right? So lookup this, my lookup vector is here, hit F4, comma, my let it once again, lookup this, lookup vector is this, comma, my result vector is this, close the brackets, enter, IT, for it is IT. Okay, now I have inserted one column, but you can see that it is still working. I have inserted one more column, still it is working. So when it comes to lookup, it does not matter whether you insert any rows or columns, it will definitely work, because for a simple reason that whenever you are using this vector form of lookup, you are defining your lookup vector and your result vector separately, and because of that it never hampers the lookup function. So friends, this brings me to the end of this video. I hope that you must have liked this video. So if you have liked it, please give me a thumbs up and leave a comment. And remember, this lookup function is going to be very useful. Okay, even if it's a very old function, but somehow this MS Office people have kept it as it is, because now many times this VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP, they can't handle this array function, and lookup can do it without any problem. So they have kept that lookup function for this reason. And second advantage is that it can work as a HLOOKUP, or that is a horizontal lookup, as well as a vertical lookup. So that these are two major reasons why these people have kept this lookup function for us to use. So take care and bye.